All right, let's talk about Cardano. You've probably seen it in the news, and honestly, it's a bit of a head-scratcher right now. It's a crypto project that's sending out some seriously mixed signals. On one hand, you look at the price, and, well, it's been in a steep decline. But then you peek behind the curtain, and you see some of the biggest players in the game. We're talking the really big money, buying it up by the hundreds of millions. So, what is really going on here? Let's dig in. Okay, so let's dive right in and look at the first side of this story, the one that everybody sees, the one that's all over the headlines, and that is Cardano's struggling price. Yeah, and the numbers here, they don't look pretty. Since August of 2023, Cardano's token, ADA, has taken a huge hit. We're talking a drop of nearly 60%. Right now, it's kind of stuck, struggling in that mid-30-cent range, and if you just look at the chart, well, the trend looks really weak. But, and this is a big but, this is where the story gets super interesting, because while that public price chart looks pretty bleak, some of the biggest investors out there are making absolutely massive moves in the complete opposite direction. So what's going on? Well, this brings us to the second, more hidden face of Cardano. So let's peel back the layers and see what's happening just beneath the surface. It all starts with a very powerful group of investors that, in the crypto world, we call whales. And just so we're all on the same page, what's a crypto whale? Well, think of it like this. It's an individual or maybe a big company that holds so much of a cryptocurrency that when they buy or sell, they literally make waves in the market. So the big question is, what kind of waves are the Cardano whales making right now? Okay, so for starters, if we look at the data coming directly from the blockchain, we call this on-chain data. It's like a public ledger. It shows us that the absolute biggest wallets just scooped up another 10 million ADA tokens. That's worth about $3.6 million. But honestly, that's just a drop in the ocean. Now this is the number that really blew my mind. There's a slightly smaller group of whales, the ones holding between 1 and 10 million ADA. These guys have been buying like there's no tomorrow. Just recently, they added a staggering 1.76 billion, with a B, ADA to their holdings. That's worth over $634 million. You heard me right. That is not a small bet. Look, when you see that kind of massive investment, especially while the price is down in the dumps, that's a huge signal. These big players are clearly betting on something big coming for Cardano. So, what do they know that the rest of us don't? So, where is all this confidence coming from? Well, it looks like the answer is a huge strategic shift that's happening inside the Cardano project. They are basically ripping up their old playbook and creating a whole new roadmap, one with a laser focus on business and getting big companies on board. And this is a really big deal. It's a total change in how they think. Cardano's always been known for its academic, super research-heavy approach, right? Well, they're pivoting away from that and going all in on a clear, commercially focused strategy. The new goal? To attract serious corporate clients and that big institutional money. And get this, they're actually putting real numbers behind this new plan. They've laid out specific, concrete goals for 2030, targeting the kinds of metrics that businesses actually care about. We're talking about aiming for 1 million active wallets every month and $3 billion in total value locked. That's just a fancy way of saying the total value of all the assets locked up and being used on their platform. See, this isn't just about getting people to use it anymore. It's about building a real, sustainable financial ecosystem. Now, it's definitely an ambitious plan, for sure. But we also have to keep things in perspective here. That goal of 324 million transactions a year, yeah, that's a huge leap for Cardano. But it's still just a tiny fraction of what a rival network like Solana is already doing in less than a week. So it really shows they've got a long way to go to catch up to the big dogs. So, the big question is, how are they planning to hit those huge goals? Well, the answer comes down to some major tech upgrades they have in the pipeline. Upgrades designed to plug Cardano into the wider crypto universe.
Their whole plan really boils down to 3 critical upgrades. First up, they're integrating oracles. Just think of these as secure bridges that bring real-world data onto the blockchain. Super important. Second, they're adding support for stablecoins like USDC, digital dollars that are absolutely crucial if you want businesses to actually use your network. And third, and this might be the most important piece of the puzzle, they are building for what they call an inter-chain future.
And this inter-chain idea, this is where things get really ambitious. Instead of being its own isolated island, a walled garden, Cardano wants to become a central hub that connects to other blockchains. Just imagine a future where your assets and data can move freely and securely between, say, Bitcoin and other specialized networks, with Cardano acting as the secure backbone for all of it. That's a game changer. Okay, so let's bring it all back together. We've got these two completely different faces of Cardano. On one side, you have this ugly market, a price that's just been plunging. But on the other, you've got this super bullish long-term vision that's being backed by hundreds of millions of dollars from the whales. So what's the final verdict here? What are we supposed to make of all this?
So here's the conflict in a nutshell. The bull case, the reason to be optimistic, is all about the future. It's the quiet confidence of the whales, it's this new business-focused roadmap, and it's these powerful tech upgrades. But the bear case, the reason to be worried, is the harsh reality of right now. A terrible-looking price chart, a strong downtrend, and even some external risks to think about.
Now, for anyone watching the charts, it really comes down to a few key numbers. Think of 48 cents as the ceiling that ADA needs to break through. If it can decisively get above that level, that would be a really strong positive signal. On the flip side, 33 cents is the floor it's standing on right now. If it breaks below that, well, things could get ugly, and the next major support level is way down around 29 cents.
You know, this quote from one of the sources we looked at really nails the situation Cardano is in right now. It's basically saying, yeah, the road ahead looks tough, but it also points to this huge promise of what could be this transformative future that they're trying to build.
And that really brings us to the crucial point, the final question we have to ask. Can Cardano's incredibly ambitious long-term vision actually overcome its harsh, painful, short-term market reality? That, right there, is the billion-dollar question. It's what the whales are betting on, and it's what the rest of us are waiting to find out.